Hello, my dears. So, this is Maria Roslyn from Phoenix YouTube channel. So, in the last video, we were deriving the EVPs for our test scenarios for our test data which was given. So, we moved on to identify these 5 EVPs, and I already iterated saying that even if you're going to take 1000 data, then still it is going to validate only the first one and not the rest, right? So how are we going to overcome this? So now we know what is equivalence partitioning. So dividing the given test data into valid and invalid classes is going to be your equivalence partitioning. So the partitioning is done, right? As that we discussed in the first case, if it is like very less, then we can move on picking up the values. But even the picking of those data also have a significance, so which we are going to iterate in this video, which is going to be your boundary value analysis. So how are we going to do that? So instead of a tester testing for all the 10,000 or 11,000 or even more than that data, we are going to pick few values, okay, which is going to give the whole coverage of the conditions which is being derived. All right, so how are we going to do that? We'll just see it now. So considering the first class, okay, my first EVP where I have my values from 1000 to 3000. So what all the values I can take, for which I am going to validate a percentage of 5% discount, right? So what are the validates I can take? The minimum valid value or is going to be your 1000, correct? And your maximum value or a valid value is going to be 3000. All right, but how am I going to test whether the 5% discount is given only till this range, or is it exceeding, or is it preceding in some other values? So I'm going to choose one value which is going to be lesser than my minimum positive value. So my minimum positive case value is going to be 1000. So I'm going to take one value lesser than that, which is going to be my 900. So that will be your negative value, correct? So which is going to be your minimum invalid, or you can say to be a invalid value, which is going to be 999. All right, so because if the amount is still 999, it shouldn't give a discount of 5%. And if I'm going to exceed that, no, if I'm going to choose one value ahead of my positive maximum value, which is going to be my 3001, that is still my maximum invalid value of my first class, but it is a valid value for my second class. Hope you will understand that, because here my value starts with 3001, correct? So if I'm going to give this 3001, this is going to be my negative case for the first class, but this is a positive case for the second class, because once 3001 is given, it should go up to the percentage of 10%. So now you have chosen, say, 3 values, or even you can consider this fourth value. So these 4 values to validate whether your 1000 to 3000, which almost has 2000 values, 2000 plus values in this range, is no, it has been reduced to now 4 values. Then these 4 values are validated. You are no pretty damn sure that yes, between this range only 5% is given and this class has been validated. All right, or even an additional one mid value can be chosen. Say, you can go for 1500, so which is going to be a normal value, or a nominal value. All right, so you can even choose something like this 1500, which is still going to give you a 5% discount. All right, so choosing the values around the boundary, around your minimum boundary and around your maximum boundary, is called as your boundary value analysis. All right, so let's move on for the second class. Maybe you can try giving the values for this class. So your minimum valid value is going to be 3001, correct? your maximum valid value is going to be your 5000. Then your minimum invalid value is going to be something lesser than your minimum value. So that is going to be your 3000, correct? So one lesser than your starting value. So that is your 3000, and maximum invalid value is going to be your one value ahead of our maximum value, which is going to be 5001. Correct. So as I already iterated, no, reiterated, this is going to give you a value which is going to give a positive scenario for the first class but the negative scenario for the second one, and this is going to be the negative for the second class but the positive for the third class. So that is not an issue, but we are making sure that your class, your equivalence partitioning class has functioned well, and the data is processed correctly and the correct percentage is given. And as I told already, you can have one nominal value which you can select anywhere between your minimum value and your maximum value. Say you're giving as 4151, anything can be there, any odd value you can just choose. So instead of, this is what is the beauty of doing a equivalence partitioning and moving on with your boundary value analysis. Instead of checking each and every value of the data that is given inside your range, you are choosing a very logical, reasonable values around the boundary. Okay, so you have your minimum boundary, you have your maximum boundary, you're choosing the boundary values, correct? You're choosing, you have to choose it. So because this will be the question that will be asked for you when you face an interview. They will give you the classes maybe, or they will give you the scenario. As I told you, you will be asked to give the equivalence partitioning classes, and you should be giving your boundary values also. So you have to choose your minimum boundary, you have to choose your maximum boundary, then choose one value lesser than your minimum value, and choose one value which is ahead or more than your maximum value, and choose one nominal value which is somewhere in between both the minimum and the maximum boundaries. So the choosing the values around the boundaries is called as your boundary value analysis. So by choosing that, you are making sure your data is correct and the correct expected result is given. So instead of beating around the bush, instead of working on all the data and in the stipulated time, that is where the cruciality comes. Now testing, you are not allowed to do testing forever, because the development time is also stringent and the testing time is still more stringent. So within the given short period of time, if you have to make sure that all your data will work according to the requirement, then these techniques should be implemented, particularly when it comes to applying it for the huge values. Right. So this is going to be your equivalence partitioning and your boundary value analysis. I'm again reiterating. So dividing the values, dividing the data given as your valid and your invalid classes is going to be your equivalence partitioning, and choosing the values around your boundary is going to be your boundary value analysis. So having said that, now can we do this for the first scenario also? Okay, so the positive scenario is from 8 to 20, correct? So you're choosing any nominal value. You can implement the boundary values here. So you have to put your values to be 8, which is your minimum value. Then choose your maximum boundary, which is going to be 20. So you have to, you have already partitioned as your two negative classes. So here we will go on for one nominal value, which is somewhere as 15. Okay, something between your 8 and 20 characters. So when you move on to the negative characters, so this is going to be less than your minimum value. So one value less than your minimum value is going to be 7. So instead of putting 3 values or 4 values for validating one thing, you can just go on for 7. One value lesser than your positive case. If this is going to be negative, anything else lesser than this is also going to be negative. Correct? So you can restrict that with one value. And anything greater than 20, just move on with 21. One value which is little higher than your positive case. So when you normally looked at this case, you were you were very good by choosing three values for each case, and maybe we can validate that. But you have divided that to your equivalence partitioning class, and you have restricted that. Now instead of going for 9 values, For one simple case, maybe you have restricted yourself for 5 values, right? The effort is less, but still the validation that you have done is, it is almost exhausted, correct? The options have been exhausted, so no more fault would be coming in this particular case. So this is your equivalence partitioning and your boundary value analysis. A repeated question for any testing interview that you attend, and you have to be very sure of this particular divisioning and choosing the values. All right, so you have to be clear on what you are actually trying to implement. So I believe this video will be helpful, and it could give you the guidance for how it is actually done. Thank you so much for your patience to listening to this video. Keep supporting my Phoenix YouTube channel. Please subscribe to the channel so that you will get all the testing updates. Be a phoenix, fly high so that no one even imagines to touch you. Thank you so much. Have a great day.